You see him on the news, polished, pressed suit, camera-ready smile. But what you don't see is the departure, the 4 a.m. wake-up call, the fake name on the boarding pass, the seat right next to yours. Because when Prince William travels, he doesn't just move through space. He moves through illusion. And the best trick? You never notice. This isn't about royalty. It's about invisibility. Welcome to a world where a future king boards Ryanair, code names replace crowns, and sometimes the person in 12B might be more important than you think. Picture this: a budget airline departing Norfolk, standard Tuesday morning. Passengers, half asleep, coffee cups rattling. Then someone glances back, and there he is, Prince William, second in line to the British throne, sitting in an economy seat. No fanfare, no bodyguards blocking aisles, just a man catching a flight. The photo spreads fast because it's 2015 and seeing royalty on Ryanair feels like spotting a unicorn at a bus stop. Refreshing, one passenger said. If a future king can fly a budget, anyone can. But here's what they didn't ask. Why was he there? Not because he had to, because he chose to. And that choice? It reveals everything. Royal travel isn't random, it's strategic. Every flight, every seat, every alias is calculated. Not for luxury, but for something deeper: control. Because when you're born into the most watched family on earth, you don't get privacy, you build it, one commercial flight at a time. Let's go back. Before the helicopters, before the private jets lined with Union Jack paint, there was protocol. Ancient rules were designed when planes were new and royals were invincible. Rule number 1: 2 heirs never fly together. Not William and his father, not William and his son. Because if something goes wrong, 30,000 feet up, the line of succession can't collapse in a single moment. The rule isn't law, but it's heavy. It carries the weight of 1972, when Prince William of Gloucester died in a plane crash at 30. The weight of caution built on tragedy. King Charles followed. Yet when William turned 12, they stopped sharing flights. The king would board one aircraft, William another. Separate departures, separate arrivals, always. But then William had children, and the rule bent, because forcing a 9-month-old baby to fly separately from his parents doesn't look responsible. It looks paranoid. So in 2014, William asked permission. The late Queen Elizabeth said yes. Prince George flew to Australia with his parents, nestled between them, blissfully unaware he'd just broken a rule older than jet engines. The press watched, the protocol experts frowned. But William understood something his predecessors didn't. Perception matters. And in 2014, sustainability matters. Optics matter. Flying 2 helicopters so father and son don't share airspace? That doesn't look safe. It looks wasteful. So the rule that once protected the monarchy now bends under the weight of public opinion. And William knows it, which brings us to the hack, the one you never noticed. When William and Kate flew commercially to Australia in 2014, their boarding passes didn't say Prince William and Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge. They said Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Baby George. He was Baby Jones. Simple, invisible, genius. Because security isn't always about guards. Sometimes it's about a name that doesn't trigger attention, a couple that blends into row 23, a bassinet that doesn't make headlines until after landing. And it works. Most passengers never know. Flight attendants are briefed but sworn to silence. Check-in happens off-site, boarding happens last or through private gates. By the time anyone realizes there's royalty on board, the plane is already over the Atlantic. They've done this for years. Ryanair to Scotland, Flybe to Aberdeen, British Airways to everywhere. In 2019, photographers caught them disembarking. An 8:45 a.m. budget flight with all 3 children and their nanny. William carried the luggage. Kate held Prince Louis. They walked across the tarmac like any other family heading to visit Grandma. Except Grandma was the Queen. And the destination was Balmoral Castle. No red carpet. No escort vehicles on the runway. Just travel. which is exactly the point. Because when Harry and Meghan took 4 private jets in 11 days, the backlash was instant. Hypocrites, they said. Environmental activists who burn more carbon in a weekend than most families do in a year. William saw that, and he adjusted. Not because he's better, but because he's smarter. He knows the game. He flies private for state visits, helicopters for domestic duties. But when the tabloids are watching, when the climate conversation gets loud, he takes the same flight you do, or at least he makes it look that way. But let's be clear, this isn't about saving money. The royal household spent over $5 million on travel last year. William's trip to New York in 2023? Paid for by the British government, even though he has access to $23 million annually from the Duchy of Cornwall. Even though the flights were for his personal charity event, the Earthshot Prize, the taxpayer still paid, because official business is flexible. And when you're second in line, almost everything counts as official. So the Ryanair flights, the economy seats, they're not about humility, they're about headlines, good ones. Here's what people forget. William isn't traveling alone. Even on a budget airline, there's a team, armed protection officers from the Royalty Protection Group, plain clothes seated nearby, advanced security that swept the plane hours before, coordination with the Diplomatic Security Service if he's abroad, fast track through customs, vehicles waiting on the tarmac. You see him board like everyone else. You don't see the 12-person security briefing that happened at 5 a.m. You don't see the threat assessment, the decoy routes, the backup plans, because real security is invisible. And for William, invisibility is survival. It's also strategy, because every time he's photographed on a commercial flight, the narrative shifts. He's relatable, down to earth. Not like those other royals who waste money. And the contrast writes itself. It always has. Since Diana. She flew commercial too. British Airways, first class, but still scheduled. Her protection officer said they never had issues. BA kept it quiet, photographers cooperated, and Diana managed to feel, just for a few hours, like a person instead of a symbol. William watched that. He learned, but he also learned what his mother didn't live long enough to see. That visibility is a currency, and sometimes being seen in the right place, at the right time, in the right seat, is worth more than any private jet. So yes, he flies Ryanair, and yes, he uses code names, but don't mistake any of it for simplicity, because when a prince boards a plane, nothing is simple. Not the route, not the timing, not even the name printed on his ticket. Every choice is a message. Every flight is a move. And in the chess game of modern monarchy, the board isn't Buckingham Palace. It's seat 12B on a Tuesday morning flight, where no one's looking, but everyone's watching. And maybe that's the real story. Not that he flies commercial, but that we care. That a prince on Ryanair feels revolutionary when it should feel routine. Because somewhere along the way, we confused royalty with fantasy. We expected gold carriages, not Gate B7. We wanted distance, not familiarity. But William understands what keeps a monarchy alive in 2026 isn't grandeur. It's relatability. The illusion that he's just like us, even when he's not, even when his commercial flight still costs the taxpayer more than your annual salary, even when his economy seat comes with 5 armed officers and a pre-cleared security route. He boards the same plane, but he's not on the same journey. And that's the trick. The thing they never say out loud. You can dress a prince in jeans, put him in seat 23D, give him a fake name and a carry-on bag, but the moment the plane lands, the cars are waiting. The gates open differently, and the man who sat next to you eating pretzels walks into a palace. So the next time you see that photo, Prince William, budget airline, economy seat, ask yourself, is this humility, or is it the most expensive PR move you've ever applauded? They want you to think it's the first. They need you to believe he's one of us. But the truth? He's playing a different game entirely. Before you go, hit that subscribe button, because we don't just review, we expose. From the hype to the hidden failures to the tricks brands hope you'll never question. So hit like, tap subscribe, and join thousands of smart viewers who already know. Smart thinking starts with asking smarter questions.